Okay, so this particular video is about the concept of the functions of money. So, what do we need to know about the function of money? Well, okay, so first of all, there's four different functions of money. So the first one, which is probably the most complicated, is that it acts as a medium of exchange. So before money existed, there was a concept called the barter economy, where one person would manufacture a good and somebody else would manufacture a different good. And then that person would be able to swap their good for something else. This is called a barter economy. Okay, and the barter economy only exists because of something called a double coincidence of wants. That means that the things you have, somebody needs to want to have them, and you need to want to exchange what they have for the thing that you have, right? Now, if that doesn't always exist, so if you have a farmer who has chickens that produces eggs, and you have a farmer that produces milk, then that's a relatively simple process. And you will be able to swap your eggs for your milk, and then both of those people would be able to have access to both of those products. That's a very simplistic example, right? But what that means is the barter economy can exist only on that basis. If, for example, you are a basket weaver and you make baskets, well, the guy who owns the chicken farm may want to swap eggs for one or two baskets. But after that, they don't want any more baskets. If you've got the guy who has the cows and he has lots of milk, he may wish to swap milk for one or two baskets. But after that, he doesn't want any more baskets. So if you are the basket maker, you have got a problem because you do not have the double coincidence of wants between those people. So what happens? Well, the obvious thing is you sell baskets for money, and money is then transferable to any other good that you require. Okay? Or if you are the chicken farmer, you sell your eggs for money, and then you can buy baskets, you can buy milk, you can buy meat, you can buy any other product that you wish. So money acts as a medium of exchange, and that's its main primary function. The second function of money is called a measure of value. And what this does, it establishes exactly how much a product or a service is worth. And that means that we've got a common measure of value. So if I believe that a product is worth X amount and somebody else believes it's not, then it is money that will establish that value. And that's its second, it's called a unit of account. It determines the value of one product against another. The third function of money is what's called a store of value. So imagine I work, I have a job, I get paid my wages, I get paid my salary. I may not choose to spend all that money at once. Okay, I may spend some of it immediately, but some of it I may keep to spend at a slightly later date. Now, we have to make sure that money only inflates in value slowly. Because if I receive my salary today and all of the prices in the economy are rising very quickly, an example is hyperinflation, for example, in Germany or in Zimbabwe, then I'm going to have to spend that money immediately because it will lose its value. So this is why governments are so they place a lot of emphasis on keeping inflation low and stable, because it means that the currency that you're using maintains its value over time, which then allows you to store that value in your currency. Okay? When you inject inflation into an economy, that currency starts to lose its value, the value that you can spend it on X amount of goods. So that's its third function. The fourth function is what's called a method of deferred payment. Now, if I was to borrow money from a bank and agree to pay that money back over time, what I'm doing is I'm deferring payment of that loan. So I'll pay X amount per month for a number of months, and that will then give the bank their money back. But that only works if you have a stable currency. So if you have a currency like the euro, or the dollar, or the yen, or the pound, then these are stabilized currencies. And that means that I can borrow money today and I can pay it back over time, and the bank will be okay with that. It's only when I see economies and currencies that have high levels of inflation where that method of deferred payment disappears, because banks will be unwilling to lend money knowing that in the future you are only going to be paying back a certain amount of value. And that is the fourth function of money. Just as a little add-on to this, let's add a little section on the forms of money. So what is money? So money is it can be take different things. So it can be actual cash, so banknotes, coins. That is known as money. It's something that has no intrinsic value, but it is a token of value. Okay, so literally on a banknote in the UK, it will say the bearer of this note is promised X amount of money. Okay, so it tells you exactly how much it's worth. So cash is the most obvious. Now we've got obviously money in current accounts. So if money is stored in a bank, if money is held in an electronic form, then that is what we call near money. It is very, very close to money. Okay, it's quite liquid. You can move it around a lot, and you'll know that since the COVID pandemic, everywhere accepts card payment, right? So a card can also represent that particular type of money. We have non-money financial assets. Okay, so if you've got money which is held in an asset, okay, so for example, if you own shares in a company, this can be considered to be wealth, right? But it's not really money, but it is wealth. So it has a value. That value may fluctuate over time, but ultimately you own a share in a company, and that share is worth X amount of a currency, whether it's a dollar or a pound. And the other thing is things like money substitutes. Okay, this is where we don't have particular. You don't have money. You borrow money. So it could be that you have credit or credit cards, or you might have a bank loan. That is effectively debt. So what you can do is you can almost access excess money in advance of paying it back. And these are the types of money that exist. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you.